All right, let's talk about modern horror. Today, we are really sinking our teeth into what makes these stories tick, what makes them so, well, so incredibly chilling.
I mean, seriously, why do we do it? Is it just for the cheap thrill, that jump scare that gets your heart pounding? Well, what if I told you it's actually something much, much deeper than that?
That's the key right there. Horror isn't just about some monster hiding in your closet. It's about the monsters we all have hiding inside ourselves. These stories, they reflect our fears, our temptations, and they show us exactly what happens when we let those things take over.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use these 4 incredible narratives as our guide. Think of it like a thematic autopsy. We're going to peel back all the layers of fear to get to the human truths buried underneath. Okay, let's get into it. So our first big theme is an absolute classic, a cornerstone of tragedy really, desire. But we're not just talking about wanting something. No, this is about that all-consuming, obsessive need that makes people blind to everything else, especially the consequences.
Okay, so take a look at this. We've got 3 very different people living 3 different lives, but they're all caught in the exact same trap. It's a fatal pattern. First up, there's Sushila. Now, her desire seems totally pure, right? I mean, she's a mother who's just desperate to save her sick son. But that desperation, that's her weak spot, and it gets twisted and exploited by a seriously manipulative tantric. Then you've got Rocky. He's the classic playboy. His desire is all about one thing: pleasure. An insatiable lust that, well, it leads him straight into the arms of a demonic Pistaccini. Not a great move. And finally, there's Jeffrey. He's a businessman who is just starving for ultimate power and wealth. So what does he do? He starts worshiping Moloch, a devil that demands some truly horrific sacrifices. It's a deal that ends with his own violent self-destruction.
You see the pattern here, don't you? For each of them, what they want becomes an obsession. It just eats away at their judgment, it pushes everyone else away, and it turns that one simple desire into the very thing that brings them down. It's one thing to be destroyed by something you're chasing out there in the world. But what happens when the terror is something you can't run from, because it's already inside of you?
And that brings us perfectly to our second theme, the demons we carry inside. This is where the horror gets deeply, deeply personal. It's all about the idea that sometimes we are our own ghosts. So in this next story, we meet Dr. Vitti. She is a woman of science, of logic. Her job seems pretty straightforward. Go to this small town and find a rational explanation for a cursed waterfall that people think is haunted.
But here's where it gets creepy. As she's looking into this local legend, a story about a mother who lost her child at these falls, she starts having these nightmares, this chilling sense of déjà vu. It feels less like a case she's investigating and more like a memory she can't quite grasp.
And the twist? Oh, it is absolutely brilliant. Because as she gets closer and closer to the truth, she realizes there's no ghost. There's no vengeful spirit haunting the waterfall.
The monster is her. See, years ago, she was feeling trapped, seeing her own son as this obstacle to her career, and she drowned him in a bathtub. The curse she was sent to investigate, it was her own mind, projecting her guilt onto the world, creating a whole horror story just to hide what she'd done.
And that right there is the terrifying core of psychological horror. The real terror isn't coming from the outside. It's your own mind turning on you, forcing you to face a truth you tried to bury deep down. The most haunted house of all is the human psyche. Okay, so we've seen how desire can corrupt you from the outside and how guilt can rot you from the inside. Now our third theme looks at something even more unsettling. What happens when the victim becomes the villain?
Let's circle back to Sushila for a second. Remember, she starts out as a character you just feel for. A mother, a victim of horrible circumstances. But as this evil tantric preys on her desperation, he twists her into a weapon. She goes from being the protector of her family to attacking it, totally brainwashed.
Now compare that to Vinod. He takes a totally different road to the same dark place. He's betrayed by his best friend, Rocky, who sleeps with his girlfriend. And Vinod, consumed by revenge, doesn't just get even. He deliberately, knowingly, leads his so-called friend to be killed by a demon. He starts as the victim, but he chooses to become the monster.
And this is the really tough question these stories throw at us, isn't it? They show us that the line between good and evil, victim and villain, well, it can get really, really blurry.
It turns out that desperation and rage can be just as corrupting as greed or lust.
So, what's the big takeaway here? After all of this, what are these stories actually trying to tell us about who we are?
Well, when you put all the pieces together, it becomes incredibly clear. These aren't just spooky campfire stories. They're modern-day fables. They're cautionary tales, warning us about the dangers of our own runaway emotions and the darkness that, honestly, we're all capable of.
You know, the story with Vinod and Rocky ends with this incredible line. In the fire of revenge, 2 lives were burnt to ashes. It just says it all, doesn't it? Vinod got his revenge, sure, but he destroyed his friend, and in the process, he destroyed himself.
And that's really the final, chilling thought I want to leave you with. Because the true power of horror is that it holds up that mirror and it forces us to look. So the real question isn't what's hiding in the shadows, it's what's hiding inside of us.